Everyone, my name is Jared and welcome to Following the Currents. This video segment is all about keeping up with current events, either in Hawaii or any other Pacific island. Today's video is going to be about New Zealand and their unique response to the world crisis of COVID-19.
By now, we should all know about the state of the world due to COVID. Most countries have started lockdowns to prevent the spread of the virus, but most have had little to no luck. New Zealand, on the other hand, had managed to eliminate the community transmission of COVID-19 by early June. The New Zealand government had begun implementing a pandemic plan by February, before any cases were even discovered in New Zealand. The first case of COVID-19 was diagnosed on February 26, and by mid-March, community transmission had already begun to rapidly increase. Due to the country not having the sufficient resources to contain the virus, the government implemented a nationwide lockdown that lasted a total of 7 weeks. The last known COVID case was placed in isolation in early May, and by June 8th, the government had effectively declared the pandemic over within 103 days of the first case. There are many lessons to be learned from the way that New Zealand was able to respond to the pandemic, some being that early, decisive government action is critical to minimizing the pandemic. With the government acting sooner, they would have been able to make interventions sooner when it comes to border control and community transmission. New Zealand had also implemented a government-managed quarantine to ensure that people were following the mandatory 14-day quarantine order. If the other governments worldwide were to follow New Zealand's example, the death toll could be right next to New Zealand's as the lowest in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, an organization made up of 37 countries that represent about 80% of the world's trade and investment.
New Zealand's response is an example that we should all follow. Stay safe and healthy, and don't forget to follow the currents.